Da-da-da-da-da-da. Welcome back to another episode of Guy Live B2B Jam Session. How are you all doing? What's going on with you all? Happy Monday. It's been quite some time since I have done a live jam session. That's because I've been busy moving. So it feels funny to be talking with you within our amazing community. With that said, we do have an awesome guest today with the homie Alec Taylor from Diverse VC. Man, he's been doing his thing for a minute now, man. And he's out there in Seattle. And shout out to team guy, teammate Taban Cosmos for making this referral. You know, I'm going to have Alec join us because he got to drop some gems before he's on his way. As you all know, this is unfiltered, unscripted, G-rated show, right? Where we have awesome people like Alec drop in, share some gems with us, and, be on their way because we got busy people on the show, y'all. So let's go ahead and have Alec talk to us and drop some gems today. Alec, how you doing, homie?
Yo. Hello, everybody. Super excited to be coming on this today. Doing great. Loving life, man. Loving life.
So how's everything going, Alec? Seattle is there's a lot going on in the world right now, man. I've been reading stuff about the vaccination. I've been reading stuff from venture capital, like all kinds of news today, man. How are you doing, bro? Are you doing well out there in Seattle, man?
Yeah, man. Doing great. There's a whole bunch of things. Been moving around a lot, actually. Been doing some Airbnb for fun, just to mix things up with COVID and all. Doing a lot of remote work. So really enjoying myself. Have an amazing team back behind me over at Diverse VC with some of the amazing work we're doing with diversity consulting as well. And yeah, just trying to find new ways to grow my mind and grow this business and honestly enhance the lives of other people around me.
I love it, man. That's the mindset, bro. Tell us a little bit about how did Diverse VC started, man? What inspired it?
Yeah. So, I think part of my backstory would help kind of paint a little bit of the picture and then how we got to Diverse VC, right? So I'm biracial. I'm half Black. I'm half white, right? My mom, blonde with blue eyes. My dad, classic Black African-American man from South Central LA, right? So that's kind of my background. So I've always been at the intersection of having different races and racism throughout my entire life. Right. Fast forward, was always in sports, always doing different things. And I always noticed there's just kind of this weird tone or this weird experience I had with certain people that had different perspectives on what it meant to be Black. Right. I was being biracial. I was always too Black for the white kids or too white for the Black kids. And I always found myself with this weird intersection of race. Fast forward, I went to the University of San Francisco, amazing full ride experience. And I found myself doing things such as Brother Connection, connecting with the Entrepreneurs Club, and then finding myself working on a lot of different diversity initiatives inside of the university. And that ended up leading to becoming an Esmeralda's diversity scholar, where I did a lot of studies on Black Lives Matter, on, the African-American experience from the 1980s, 1965, all the way until present day, looking at culture and today, how people assimilate with one another, and so much more. And I took all those learnings, and then I ended up going to, and I'll kind of fast forward a little bit, working full-time at Adobe, a top 50, Fortune 50 company. And working in that space, I found myself on the Black Employee Network Leadership Board. So I was actually working with our CEO of Adobe, Shantanu, on how do we construct different different value systems and different systems in place so that we create more equity for people in the workplace. And all these different experiences, going and talking about this and so much more, I found myself just naturally aligning with diversity and diversity consulting in corporate America. And that's kind of the impetus behind Diverse VC. So right now we're building diversity consulting for different company size, typically about 50 people, all the way up to 1,000. And we're working on creating really two approaches. One's going to be on a consultative approach, right? Assessing what is your company doing right now for diversity? Where do you rank out of everything that we have here? And then let's prescribe you solutions that are going to help enhance diversity and equity in the workplace. Because it's been proven that companies that have more diversity, and I think it's taking a step back, diversity can be gender, it can be skill sets, it can be ethnicity, it could be religion, it could be so many different things. I think a lot of people typically bucket it into just being an ethnicity type of things. It's so much more. Right. And so we look at that, and we try to take that and basically institute different frameworks or systems that we've developed inside of Diverse VC to be able to make companies have higher levels of revenue or hit their financial targets, be able to have better hiring rates, higher employee satisfaction, better brand and relationships and partnerships, right? So people want to work for that company, but people also want to work with that company. So fundamentally, just making your business more successful from a C-suite level, and then also creating a lot more happiness and goodwill throughout the rest of the business. So that's kind of where everything came from.
You are preaching to the choir, bro, because that's one of the biggest things. I have so many friends in the diversity, equity, inclusion space, and it's crazy to me how many organizations are not aware of the impact that diversity can bring to their teams, their products, their whatever it is that they're working on, their services. And we're seeing like this huge trend in companies like embody it, man. And now I want you to like talk a little bit about your experience being someone that grew up different in a sense, right? Multicultural, and you saw two ways of life.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. I did a talk on Experience Makers Live with Adobe. And during that talk, I was asked to share, and this was at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was actually asked to share a little bit about my background, right? Things such as, not only just being biracial, but, being brown, having brown skin. When I drive, I'm always looking in my mirror, right? When I am, walking down the street, if there's like certain people on the street, I might go on the other side or find myself doing certain things that most people wouldn't even think about, right? I would never think about leaving the house without my wallet and driving, right? Because that's just an easy way to, you know what I mean? I use driving as a really common thing, right? So just the way that I kind of look at life and the lens that I have has always been a little bit more conservative in that sense, like being aware of the different potential situations that I could be put into. I think that's kind of one of the things when it comes to being biracial that I've experienced. And then also just the intersection of cultures, right? So like if I'm with, like, let's break my family up into two sections, right? We'll do the white side of the family and we'll do the black side of the family, right? Completely different cultures and like just perspectives and conversations that people are having, right? From the types of foods to, talking about having ashy elbows and wearing cocoa butter, like different fun conversations. It's just been a tremendously different experience seeing just kind of the lifestyle that everybody has. So I think that would kind of allude to kind of part of my experience being biracial. Out of curiosity, I want to toss it on your side, how's your experience been, in America, in the corporate world, so much more. I'm curious to hear kind of your perspective because you've connected with so many amazing people and you have such amazing going here. Can you lead to that? I'm curious.
Absolutely, man. No, great question, Alec. Dude, for me, I'm a Nigerian immigrant, but I've also lived in Seattle. I've lived in Houston. I've spent time in Taipei, New York. I'm a global citizen fundamentally and holistically. And I've met all kinds of different people. And I think one of the biggest things for me is you notice so many similarities in how we all decide to live our lives, right? One of them is that like the biggest thing is that you are unique, but you are also very similar. And if people spend more time understanding how within our unique cultures and our unique circumstances, where are the similarities, that's what binds us together at the end of the day. And we still accept people for the differences. So, I'm grateful. I think we're seeing this resurgence and trend in companies investing more in diversity, or whether it be professing it, and fundamentally in people paying more attention to inclusion work, right? And equity work. That's actually really important given the current times that we're in, because it's 2021 and we can't keep living within systems in a society that professes inclusion, but it more so feels like it's racism. And
it's interesting you say that. Sorry to cut in here. I wanted to talk about that. So there are a lot of frameworks. If you think about it, 400 years of slavery and who built the corporate world that we're in today, a lot of the things were built off of, and take this with a grain of salt, right? There's so many things that go into this, but off of the white male corporate perspective of how things should be, right? Capitalism, etc. And I think capitalism is a very positive thing as well. Like I believe like innovation comes from that, right? Within certain bounds, right? But a lot of the frameworks of society, the way that if we look at gentrification, how cities, if you look at San Francisco, how the different districts have been split up to change things around from an economic and from a ethnic standpoint, you'll realize like the Fillmore district in San Francisco, California, for example, there's a huge disparity of wealth. tenderloin as well, compared to that of the Presidio, or kind of the more water side of the Bay Area, right? And you look at these different systems that are in play, and then you look at how the cultural norms of being in corporate America or being in the professional world are being executed today. It's very different, right? I think the conversation that if we look at it kind of going back to like the family thing, a common conversation in one household is going to be very different than another household, right? Some people might talk very calmly. If we look at like the Asian culture, for example, which is a very top of mind movement right now, if we look at the Japanese, very respectful, very conservative, right? Whereas if we look at some of the African American cultures, and this is, once again, this does not speak for all cultures. I just want to make that clear. But if we look at some of these other cultures, perhaps more of a verbose or kind of loud playing music type of culture is more prominent. That's how you show love and affection, and that's your passion about things. But when we have this mindset of what is the right way to be in a professional space, it really changes like how people can be successful and how we execute in so many different things. So really amazing point you made there. Sorry to cut you off, but I just wanted to talk about the framework.
Hey man, you were dropping gems, man. And we appreciate you coming on and dropping gems, man. We know you're a busy guy, Alec, doing game changing thing. I want to ask, what's the last gem that you want to share with our amazing community and our team guide, man?
The last gem that I want to leave for you guys, I think just some perspective, right? We all, and you kind of started to allude to some of this, but doing this work, and I think being in this space, you realize that there's a saying, it's really hard to hate someone that you know, right? It's really easy for us to not know somebody and think that that bully down the street is a really rude person, but we don't know what's going on in that person's life, right? Or that kid's showing up late to class, or they're missing meetings. And the reality is, maybe they lost their mom. Maybe they're going through a breakup. Maybe they are going through some different situation. But if you take the time to talk with another person, to learn from them, to be able to connect with them and understand where they're coming from and what they're going through, right? Empathy, I think, is something that we're missing in today's society, from just day in and day out to even in the workspace, right? Our coworkers and so much more. So take time to be able to learn from one another, to understand what other people are going through. Because if you take that time, I think just the understanding that you'll have of, and the deeper connection you'll have with people will turn out to be very fruitful, and help you be more successful, whether you're a leader, an independent contributor, or just out in the world having an amazing time. So that's all I have to leave with.
And that's a big jump, bro. That's one I can't forget. That's what I can't forget. Hey, Alec, man, appreciate you. And by the way, y'all, Alec is out in California doing his thing with Diverse VC. I said Seattle at the start of the show. My apologies, y'all. I
bounce around a little bit from time to time, flying around.
My apologies, y'all. Shout out to Taban in Seattle. So I thought you were in Seattle, Alec, and he's the one that connected us. But shout out to Taban.
We spent a little bit of time out there, so.
Yeah. So by the way, y'all, check him out if you're in Cali, y'all. I don't know, is it the LA area, Alec? The LA area?
So I bounce between LA and the Bay Area. So I kind of have two different locations. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So check him out if you're in the Bay or LA. Hey, Alec, man, appreciate you, man. We got to have you on in the future, bro. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I'd love to come on. I'd be happy to talk about anything. This is awesome. I really appreciate this. I love what you guys are doing out here. We'll set something up. We'll get something on the calendar. I'd love to come back.
Bro, appreciate you, Alec. Love it, man. Thanks so much for joining us today, man.
Thank you so much.
Shout out to Team Guide member Taban Cosmos, man, for showing love and connecting us to Alec and having Alec share some gems. With that said, y'all, make sure to check out bigblacktea.com. We recently got a new batch of inventory, which has been incredibly successful for the company, and we are now able to give all our amazing customers and members tea again. So get the latest batch of Big Black Tea, because we are literally selling out at a rapid pace, literally. So shout out to everyone who's gotten their most recent batch. Appreciate it. In addition to that, y'all, we are currently still in beta, and we are currently forecasting a lot of growth within these next few months. And I have been down in the trenches, just building, designing, and doing all kinds of things. So show us some love. Join our wait list. The movement continues. And please let us know what's going on in your life. How are you doing? Let us know in the comments. Reach out to me or Taban, wherever you're at in our community, so we can show you some love. In addition to that, want to actually mention one very important thing that I think is completely relevant and we all need to hear right now. Stop Asian hate. It's wrong. Don't do it. Stop Asian hate. It's not cool. Just stop it. Just stop it wherever you are. If you are hating on any culture, any race, any ethnicity, any person, just stop it. The world needs more love. It's really that simple. Stop hating on people. And stop white supremacy and elitism of any kind. We don't need it in our country. We don't need it in our culture. And people definitely don't need it in their lives. There's a lot going on with humanity right now, and people have more than enough to struggle with. So stop hating on people. It's just not necessary. Stop hurting people. All right, y'all. With that said, talk to y'all soon. And as always, be abundant. Peace.